everybody. How's everyone doing today? Awesome. Welcome to reInvent. This is IMP106, Enabling Financial Freedom with Generative AI. I'm Shuja Sarwardi. I'm a Gen AI leader for the Americas, for the Gen AI Innovation Center. With me, I have here Henrique Sehuo and Mateus Moura.
Hello, my name is Henrique. I am a head of technology and data. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mateus. I work as a marketing and product director at Serasa Expedia in Brazil.
Great. Well, today we're going to talk to you about the Generative AI Innovation Center. We're going to talk mostly about responsible AI for social impact, and we'll talk about Serasa's customer journey with generative AI for social impact and doing good. With that being said, I'll kick off again. Give you a quick overview of the Generative AI Innovation Center that AWS has. The center is made up of strategy and science experts who work with customers on brainstorming and problem formulation to help them identify the best use cases for your Gen AI problems. And we work through finding a clear path to success. We provide expert services from advisory functions, such as exploring the best foundation model candidates to meeting your business objectives, to hands-on engagements, such as fine-tuning foundation models to meet the main specific goals of your business outcomes. We also provide assistance in building end-user solutions across use cases such as question-answer, summarization, information retrieval, and distillation. We also finally provide guidance on best practices for applying Gen AI responsibly, which we'll talk more about shortly, as well as optimizing machine learning operations to accelerate your time to value. So the 4 areas at the Innovation Center we focus on are 1, education. AWS will conduct sessions to provide context around Gen AI, discuss the art of the possible to your specific industry, provide offerings and prescriptive guidance to support those, and learn more about your short and long-term problems. 2, second will be workshops in which we will discuss your Gen AI use cases and share how others are leveraging Gen AI, enabling your science teams to develop an experimentation plan for Gen AI. 3 are the proof of concepts, or POCs, which will showcase the power and expanse of Gen AI using AWS on your data and your environment against a targeted use case that you selected, and present those results back to your key stakeholders. And finally, 4, we help you plan for production, where we provide a roadmap to facilitate you in your journey. Ultimately, production is where true business value is generated. With that being said, enabling generative AI as a force for good we all know that generative AI is one of the most transformational technologies of our generation. Gen AI provides opportunities to be a force for good, but yet it's still early days. We are seeing exciting use cases from energy efficient utilization to conservation of work to accelerated drug discovery to more sustainable material design. For example, in drug discovery, the treatment startups like Gnosis Bio are using generative AI to accelerate the research and deliver more targeted drug delivery with fewer side effects. Using state-of-the-art deep learning, Gen AI, and biochemistry, they can design a new class of molecules to localize treatments to the source of disease, minimize unwanted interactions. And in a moment, Serasa Experian will share their story of how they're transforming financial literacy with generative AI. But now we want to talk a little bit more about how to find a balance between all the promise that Gen AI offers to transform industries and enable new innovation and new experiences with the risks and challenges we've seen at the same time. It's that balancing act that we need to enable us to take the advantage of what Gen AI offers while ensuring the safe, secure, and transparent development of the technology. Specifically, let's start with some background. Why is it so hard to build Gen AI responsibly? Well, it begins with the fact that models are broad and open-ended, right? The generative in Gen AI refers to the fact that the technology can produce open-ended content that varies with repeated tries. This is contrasted to the more traditional use cases we see in machine learning, which typically solve very focused, narrow prediction problems. Let's look at an example when we talk about responsible Gen AI. How do we go about making sure an LLM is fair? What do we even mean by what fair is? We may ask the LLM to treat men and women equally. For instance, consider a prompt like Dr. Hansen study the patient's chart and carefully, and in service of fairness, we might ask that the completions generated by the LLM, Dr. Hansen is assigned both male and female pronouns with roughly equal frequency. Right? We might argue to do otherwise would perpetuate the stereotype that doctors are typically male. But let's not talk about just doctors. What about nurses, firefighters, accountants, carpenters, attorneys? professors. It's clear that measuring just this one narrow notion of fairness will quickly become unwieldy. And it's even obvious that when the context should be enforced. For example, what if the prompt described that Dr. Hansen has a beard or a mustache? What about the Women's National Basketball Association, the WNBA? Should mention of a WNBA player in a prompt elicit male pronouns on behalf of them? So you can see by simply defining fairness in the context of an LLM requires new approaches and new solutions. Now, as we mentioned, there are risks and challenges that emerge with rapid growth of generative AI. You see the QR code that's listed there. Amazon scholar Michael Kearns provides a great analysis of responsible AI, Gen AI and what he's seen in academia, as well as prescriptive guidance. Highly recommend that you look at the link. You can understand that if you want to dig in this further, the risks that we see are around hallucinations, around toxicity and safety, IP, and data privacy. So part of our commitment to develop generative AI in a responsible way, we need to make sure that it is integral to our approach from the beginning. And specifically, when we talk about generative AI in a responsible manner and way, we look at these 4 focus areas. First, we want to help transform Gen AI from theory into practice and help operationalize those across key elements of responsible AI. We want to ensure that challenges that emerge from Gen AI are provided with tools and guidance and resources that both build and use Gen AI responsibly. Second, responsible AI is an integral part of the entire end-to-end life cycle and on a foundation model, including the design, development, deployment, and ongoing use of Gen AI. It's not something you can be combined and do so in a silo or do so after the fact and retrofit it. Instead, it has to be continuously included from the beginning and test for accuracy, test for fairness, and test for other key areas of responsible dimensions across your models. Third is prioritizing education around how Gen AI works with its limitations. Just last year at AWS, we launched AI Service Cards, a new transparency resource to help customers better understand our AI services and provide one place to find the intended use cases, limitations of responsible AI choices, deployment, and performance optimizations. So if you haven't seen our AI Service Cards, I highly recommend you check them out. And finally, we have to be willing to advance the science behind developing Gen AI in a responsible manner. That's what we're doing at AWS. We know that Gen AI technology will continue to evolve and will pose new challenges that will require additional attention to mitigation strategies, together with academic research, as well as government and partners. And we know that coming together, we see a holistic view on generative AI. We're committed to continued development of Gen AI in a responsible way, and altogether, we want to make sure that it's available in a safe, trustworthy, and helpful manner. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Mateus from Serasa Experian, who will talk about their journey.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. As I said, my name is Mateus. I work at Serasa Experian Brazil. It's a credit bureau, and we also have a business unit focused on helping Brazilians with their financial life. And today, before I start my presentation, it's really important for those who hasn't been in Brazil to understand the landscape that we're living there. So Brazil is a land of contrast. And I say that because although we are one of the biggest economy in the world, we are a land of soccer, not that much anymore, as you know. We also are a land of carnival and have beautiful nature. We also are one of the most unequal country in the world. So 10% of the income is held by only, 50% of the income is held by only 10% of the population. In Brazil, financial education is not part of our life. So only 35% of the Brazilians say that they have financial education. So they don't know how to manage their money. So if you ask to a Brazilian, when they receive the first payment, and if you ask them, did someone explain you how to manage your money? They will say no, because we don't have financial education in school. We don't have financial education in our home, so we don't know how to manage money. So this is something that we are trying to change. So because of that, we have more than 72 million people behind their bills in Brazil. It's bigger than the UK. It's bigger than most of the country that you're going to find in Europe. So it's a lot of people who are not paying their debts, and they're struggling with their finance. So Brazilians, they live in a 30-day cycle when 1 month they have the money, the other month they don't have. So they are trying to manage their financial life, and sometimes they don't have the money to pay their bills. So we are a fintech in Brazil that is trying to help them manage their life. So rather than talk, I will introduce you what we are doing in Brazil and how we are helping Brazilians manage their financial life.
Today you'll be hearing a lot about Serasa. So what does Serasa really do anyway? Hold on, let me explain it. We are one of the largest financial apps in Brazil, which already has more than 21 million monthly active users. How? Well, fasten your seatbelts. Through data, we help Brazilians improve and maintain good credit scores. We connect millions of users to more than 500 companies, helping them settle their debts, pay their bills, and take out loans. And if everything comes from data, nothing could be fairer than monitoring and protecting our users' data. And you can bet that we do that too. More than 83 million Brazilians have already been contacted and helped through either our services or financial education using digital or real-life activations.
É só dignidade, né? Eu estou muito feliz. Ah, com o coração alegre.
But greater than all this is our mission to revolutionize access to credit and help Brazilians at every stage in their lives through information and technology.
Now let's talk about our solution and what we are doing with. Thank you. What we are doing with AWS using the GenAI. Okay. First of all, we have more than 1,800 articles and a lot of FAQs and a lot of things in our channels. We have more than 3 channels, which we have a lot of contents there. Every month we create more than 200 articles to put on our website. But even we have a lot of information in the internet. A lot of people coming to our call center and create tickets, more than 2 million tickets with us to understand them financial lives. What happened of this one? 83% of these 2 million tickets which open in our call center is from these channels, okay? And 43% of them they coming from just 2 channels. Serasa Teach You and FAQs which we have. As we know, financial stage is every people have the status, the standard things and some things like that. And understanding the behaviors of the consumers, we created the journey for them financial lives, personalization and humanized conversation. We are using the GenAI to talk with them more humanized. We know about that. Every time we have to help the people to create them to understand them financial lives and increase them score. Okay. And together with AWS, we are using the Bedrock to understand and create the models, and we are creating this product. Okay, just talking about our pipeline. We got more than 2 million conversations together the knowledge searches and used our user profiles in our database. We are using the Amazon Bedrock and put everyone together with a vector DB. We had to create this one together with a LLM model, which we used the cloud to put everything together and connect every articles and every data which we have from our consumers. And as we know, we have more than we showed for you. We have more than 86 million registered in our environment. People are registered in our environment, and because that maybe they doesn't know Portuguese, and because that we have to put the Amazon Translate together the model to help them and to help them financial lives. Okay, let's see just a demo which we would like to present it for you. every day we received this kind of question. How can I improve my score, for example? But depends of the situation. When I say, how can I improve my score? For some people, it's just, pay your bill and your score will increase automatically. But for other ones who pay every bills and they doesn't have any debts on their name, for example, it's a little bit different, you know. And sometimes we need to explain for them, it's not just pay your bill. You have to contribute with more data. You have to connect in your financial institutions or your bank account and contribute with more data to connect your score and with the real financial life with them, you know. I would like to bring for you just some examples which we are talking about. The same question for the different kind of person. In this case, for example, what are the best ways I can avoid online scams? On this case, for example, is we could using the machine learning and the AI, we could discover, is an engaged person, for example, and the last tech savvy, for example. And on this case, the answer for the same LLM model will be like this. Don't click and pop up, or ads or deals to seem too good to be true. On this case, for example, we have to help them to be more safe on the internet. But in the other case, is a very engaged person who have a digital savvy, and the LLM model could answer another kind of tips. You know, on this way, for example, number or social security number on score, encrypted website, on website like HTTPS, for example. If I said some things like that for the first kind of person, maybe they will not understand us, you know. They don't have a digital education or something like that, as Matthew said for you. On this case, we have to connect that and understand how we can connect with them and be better to give some tips from them, okay? But as Suchi said for you, we have to be very restrictive with our contents. Using the bedrock and using the LLM model, for example, I would like to figure out this kind of situation on example. If someone asks to the LLM model how to make a bomb, for example, is not good for our brand, for example. Imagine if someone pin screen on this case. And we had to create other LLM models to understand that and say, okay, it's an invalid question. On this case, we have to answer other kind of one. For example, the question asked is about how to make a bomb, which is not relevant to providing financial assistance. It's not a good one. But as I said for you, we would like to be very connected with our consumers. We would like to be very connected with them and help them financial lives. And on this case is on another case which I bring for you. For example, where do I buy a milk, for example? We can be more empathy with them, and we can help them using better them financial lives. On this case, I'm afraid, for example, I don't have enough context to provide a specific recommendation on where to buy a milk. However, here are some tips. We can help them and understand how we can help them to use in our environment to increase them scores. And just the last part for you, I would like to bring some takeaways and learning. This is a learning process. You have to understand that. It's regarding, I guarantee you, you have to map, you have to test, understand, and evaluate it for great results. Using the bedrock worked very well for us because we could reduce a lot of time to compare a lot of models which we have on the internet. Everybody here knows we have a lot of LLM model, but it depends on the situation. You have to use one model to something or the other one. we used the bedrock to do that and create the code to help our consumers. The third one, prioritize the consumers. Understand their moments and use all their profile data to customize and personalize that communication. And use all the human resources that we have in your company. Use like hackathons or game or something like that. But you have to put everyone together, training your model, training your solution, because with more characters, with more human training, you will have a very good results. Be empathy with your clients. I think is the most important of that. Be empathy with your clients. They may not be in exact moments as you are or your experience are. This is what we are bringing for you, and thank you so much. If you have some question, we can help you, or please complete the session survey. It's very important for us to understand that. Thank you.